every show we played, like, we've been requested like an encore, which like has never happened like at any show that we've ever played in the States ever.
Welcome to the Dreams of Conscious podcast. If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, my name is James, and I am the singer slash like writer slash producer, everything. What else for Blind Equation?
Would you say that Blind Equation, besides what you're doing right now, which is touring through Southeast Asia, but other than that, would you say Blind Equation is a one-man project?
Yes. As far as the studio goes, and like outside of performing live shows, yes, Blind Equation's like a solo project.
So, people can probably guess from the background noise that we are not doing this over Zoom.
No, not at all.
This is a return to the original Dreams of Consciousness podcast, the old run and gun days when I used to corner bands outside of St. Vitus and Ramapi and steal them away from the venue for about half an hour to find out about the tours that they're on. James, we are currently in Johor Bahru in the south of Malaysia. Tell us, how did you end up here? How did this tour come about?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story, but basically, so last year, like in March, I went to see this band called Sobs. They're from Singapore, and
they were playing the US?
Yeah, they were playing Chicago, and I saw them. Really, I had a great time. Posted a video of their set like on the Blind Equation Twitter. They saw it, they retweeted and stuff, and then Dylan, who's like a promoter in Singapore, saw like that Sobs, retweeted like me posting about Sobs, and then it was just like, holy shit, crazy crossover, Cybergrind / Singapore, And then like I followed him because of that, and then he like messaged me like, hey, like if you ever want to play Southeast Asia, like just let me know. And like I was just like, yeah, sure, yeah, let's figure this out. Like I didn't know. I was just like, sure, fuck it, why not?
And to be fair, you'd never been to Asia before.
No, never. I've never toured internationally ever. I've never played a show outside the US other than like once in Canada, but not with Blind Equation. So like, yeah. So then Dylan really wanted to bring Your Arms to My Cocoon with, and he saw that I was like kind of friends with Tyler, and was like, hey, you should ask them if they want to come with too. So I hit up Tyler, and then he was down. So now we're here in Malaysia, like literally right now, a year later. So it's just crazy because when I messaged Dylan, like I didn't think that this would happen. So it's happening now. Yeah.
And Blind Equation are signed to Prosthetic, who I've been doing some interviews for and some reviews for. I've been working with the promotion department, but to be clear, this is entirely self-funded, right?
Yeah.
You're not getting any label support for this tour.
Oh, not at all. Yeah, no, this is all like self-funded, self-booked. We all pretty much did this ourselves with the help of like friends of friends, like people in like Dylan's network, people in like Tyler's network, people in my network. You know, we all kind of like collaborated on this, so there wasn't like one booking agent for like the whole tour. Like it's just like multiple people from multiple corners of the world and corners of the DIY scene. Like the Thailand show, like I booked like the day before. Like I met somebody through a friend, and then like they came to, like I met them like the night before, and then we talked and then confirmed the show. So it's just all like DIY shit right now.
Now, which day of the tour is this? How many shows have you played so far?
This is the fourth show for us, then fifth show for Your Arms and My Cocoon. We were both supposed to play Vietnam together, but us Blind Equation was unfortunately denied entry, so we had to go to Thailand, and we were denied entry because of a typo on my visa application. That's entirely on me, but also like Vietnam immigration like approved the typoed passport number, even though like I provided a picture of my passport, so they could easily like, you know, verify if I typed it wrong or not, you know. And usually they just say like, hey, you typed this wrong, please resubmit, you know. Yeah. But they didn't do that, so I figured I was good, you know. And then once I got to, you know, O'Hare Airport, they were like, yeah, this doesn't match your passport, it's not gonna happen.
So you were stopped in Chicago itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So thankfully I wasn't like all the way in Vietnam and then had to fly back, but it still kind of sucked, you know. But it is what it is, you know. Gave us an opportunity to kind of explore into Thailand a little bit more, but yeah.
So in a few hours you'll be playing Malaysia.
Yeah.
Where do you head to from here?
We have a couple days off, then we play Hong Kong.
Okay. And after Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, and
Indonesia and Australia and New Zealand.
And so we talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah.
Funny story, we are staying at the same hotel.
I know.
The same shitty hotel.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit before. I've been to New Zealand a few times. I love that country. Mm-hmm. And I've been to the two places that you're playing, Whammy Bar and Valhalla.
Yeah.
And I understand you have some contacts in those cities.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my friend Ian plays for Death Trip, which is, I guess, his cybergrind project from New Zealand. And for those who know, he is featured on like the last album, Death Awaits. And he did tour the United States with me back in July last year. So obviously we've been like close friends, you know, for a while. So it only made sense that when we were trying to play New Zealand for me to like hit him up for help, you know. But yeah.
Very cool. Well, if I could head down to Wellington and see you guys at Valhalla, I would.
Yeah.
Well, we may run into each other next month. I'll speak about that in a little bit.
All right,
but
cool.
Tell me about Cybergrind. Tell me about your setup when you record and how you translate that to your live shows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, cybergrind like is a genre that I feel like is only really meant to like be listened to, like, you know, and it's all digital, like all, you know, made on the computer and shit. And being able to like put that into live context is definitely a challenge, and having it to like, you know, translate well and like really like be a fulfilling experience is, yeah, definitely a challenge. But I feel like we pull it off pretty well. So yeah, so right now we just have like a backtrack player that like plays the backing tracks. So it's pretty much just like the synths from the album. We have a guitar player who like kind of highlights some of the synth melodies, you know. And then we have a drummer who like drums over it, you know. And then another output out of the backtrack player has a bass guitar that runs through like a bass cab amp. And then I scream over all that, but yeah.
I need you to repeat the phrase guitar player.
Guitar player, yeah, we have a guitar.
Did you have to audition guitar players? How do you find a guitar player?
Yeah, so my friend Jeff, who is in the band, like I knew him from like other bands and stuff, because he plays guitar in like a grindcore band still, and he would post like Facebook videos of like him playing at open mics with a guitar, and like I know he was like a, you know, crazy piano keyboard player, played keyboards in a couple bands, and I saw that and I was just like, he would play like Through the Fire and Flames on like guitar, you know, so like I knew that he could like play Blind Equation shit. So like when I was like trying to form like a full live band, I was just like, yo, can you are you down? And he was like, yeah. So he like learned the songs pretty easily, and yeah.
When you're recording the keyboard MIDI on the recordings, are you playing it through a keyboard attachment, a keyboard interface, or are you programming it note by note?
Note by note. It's all like 100% like piano scroll, just on Cubase. Like I just like map out the notes like individually, and like for everything up until like Life is Pain, like I did on like a shitty like laptop trackpad too on an HP computer. So it's nice to now use a mouse, but yeah, that's what I do.
Now, as you're touring and as you have, this is a DIY tour, and you find out the gear situation and the PA situation once you get to the venue.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of control over stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much are you able to translate what you usually do live to what you do on this tour?
Honestly, like most of the venues, it's been like pretty much the same. So like our live setup in the States, like it's just like I use a different backtrack player that's like same brand, but it's just like 24 output, and like it's like a rack unit, and then I have a power amp that can go into the bass amps and stuff. Like for this tour, I'm like I need like a bass amp with like, because I can just use a bass cab when I'm doing it back home, but like here, like I need the amp as well. But like it usually just sounds the same, and most of the PAs have been like loud enough to where like you can hear the tracks. So I mean that's usually all we need. So honestly, like we've been sounding pretty good on this tour. Not too many like road bumps, as far as like technical issues go. I think there's like some feedback going on like with the drums like in Singapore last night, but like I mean that's just shit like that happens, But other than that, I mean like I think we've been sounding good, because we have a pretty simple setup. So yeah.
So 3 shows so far.
Mm-hmm.
How have the crowds been? How have the crowds in Asia been?
Fucking amazing. Like I don't know, it's like surreal. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like the audience is like super like receptive and like super like passionate. Like they just like every show we played, like we've been requested like an encore, which like has never happened like at any show that we've ever played in the States ever. Like every single one, and we're not even like the last band either. Like Your Arms My Cocoon plays after us, and like I don't know, that's like crazy, and like people are like freaking out during our sets, and it's like so like rewarding and like, yeah, just fucking amazing. Like this tour has been like incredible.
So there have been a few bands who toured through Asia who I got to catch up with and touch base with a few years after their tours, and I usually ask them the same thing. So, you know, since you're only a few days into this, you know, you'll have more of a perspective on this in a few weeks. But I'm curious, as you're sitting here, as you're, you know, at the very start of this tour, is there anything you wish you had been told before you came here?
Yeah, definitely. Like when you're like booking the flights, make sure like the names that you put on the passengers matches the passports, because I did not do that, and like so our drummer Bill like is technically William, and like I put his name as Bill for all of the flights.
Right.
So like I've been having to like get that changed for all these flights, and it's been a fucking pain in the ass because I've been doing it like while we're on this tour too. So and some of them I just can't, so I'm just gonna have to like buy a new plane ticket, you know. So like it just resulted in a lot of unnecessary like hassle and costs. But also like I've never like booked a plane ticket for another person, so like I just don't think about these things, you know. And also I haven't like flown on a plane since I was like 18, you know, with the exception of like the one time I flew to Portland to see Horse the band in 2019. But like, yeah, definitely that. I guess when you're filling out visas, make sure you don't make any typos. But other than that, I mean, like, I feel like I've been like, I packed shorts, you know, you know, it's really hot in Southeast Asia, so you know, just like prepare for that.
Are you saying that for bands touring through Southeast Asia and want to look cold, maybe don't bring the bullet belt and the leather vest?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, like, it's understandable if you want to like do it for the bit, you know, but like, you know, like just know what you're getting yourself into, you know. But and also like definitely like stay as a group, don't get lost, you know, and make sure your phone's like always charged, and like bring a portable charger. And also like don't forget to like warm up, and like make sure you get like tea any chance you can, and water any chance you can. If you're touring from the US, like everything's gonna be super cheap here, so just like buy a shit ton like bottles of water, you know, like you're gonna find them everywhere, and like they're inexpensive. Just like hydrate, make sure you hydrate, and like get enough sleep if you can. But yeah.
What about the food situation?
Yeah, so like I'm like vegetarian, and also Tyler is vegan, so like it's been like a little bit tough finding like vegan options, and also like translating, you know, like with the language barrier, like it can sometimes be difficult to like communicate like that a certain thing like doesn't, like we don't want egg, or like you know, and sometimes like noodles will be cooked with egg and shit like that, you know. So trying to like go over that, it's like been tough, you know. But I've been like successful in finding food options, just like a little bit harder, you know.
It is tricky, and I don't even know how to navigate something like a gluten allergy. Or,
yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Lactose intolerance, you know, or anything like that. I mean, I know specific to vegetarians and vegans, a lot of like the spices and the flavorings that they use here, you know, the restaurants themselves may not even be aware that it's pre-prepared with like, you know, fish flavoring, or shrimp and stuff like that. So it is tricky. Like I think if you're touring with a local band, or if you have a local promoter, I think it's important to communicate that kind of stuff ahead of time.
Yeah, Dylan's been like super helpful with like, you know, trying to get us like vegan food as well. Like when we're ordering at restaurants, like he'll like kind of like talk to like the person and be like, hey, like, you know, make sure this doesn't have egg and stuff like that.
One thing that we should mention is that as we're having this conversation, I'm not sure exactly when this episode is going to come out, but as we're having this conversation, it's the tail end of the month of Ramadan, which is the fasting month in Muslim countries. And you're also heading into a big Muslim holiday. And so I think that ended up being an issue when you were booking shows, or trying to book shows in Malaysia and Indonesia, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think what the promoter said, I don't know what the promoter told you. I'm not sure what they said. But it had something to do with the holiday, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. When we were trying to book Indonesia for like tomorrow, but yeah, that basically like, yeah, so we had to move it to after Japan.
So you get back to the States sometime early May, right?
Yeah, May 6th.
What are your plans for the band after that?
So we're doing like one show in Chicago the weekend after tour, sort of just as like a little like homecoming show, you know. That'll be cool. We're planning like a tour in the Midwest in July, and that'll be with like 2 like digital hardcore cyber grind bands too. We've never done like a 3-band tour before, like because like, you know, it doesn't leave much room for like locals to be added, you know, and like it's kind of risky when you're doing it like DIY, but I believe in our vision, and I believe that the hype that we've kind of been building, and also the other bands that we're touring with whose names are undisclosed, you know, like we've all been working for this, and I feel like us together will be a powerful force that will bring people in these states, hopefully, or maybe we'll play to like 10 people each night and not make any money, which is like fine too, because we get to hang out with our friends and watch each other's bands and be cool. But yeah, so doing that. I'm working on a new album. I have a bunch of things to tweak on it, but I'm really excited for that. Obviously, that's going to be through Prosthetic as well. That should be cool. Maybe some more countries would be cool, but definitely like this tour has been a financial. Well, it's not over yet, so I mean, maybe we'll make some big money, you know, in Japan or something. But so far, you know, in the red a little bit, but it's okay because the experience is like priceless, and like this is like the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I'm super grateful for it. And like these shows have been fucking amazing, and like definitely like I wouldn't trade it for the world. So yeah.
Do you have a timeline for the next album? Is there a point where sometime you want the album to be released?
I really want it to be out 2025, but also I don't want to like rush it, you know, because like now that I'm like, I've written like 10 songs for it, but now that I'm like taking a couple months back, you know, after writing them, like there's like, I have ideas in my head for like certain songs, because like I feel like some aren't like, I am a firm believer that like songs like don't have to be super complex or mathy or like whatever, or like all over the place, like if they don't need to be. But like I just kind of want to do that with some songs, so I might experiment with that. But also like if it ends up making the song worse, I might just like change it back, you know. But yeah, new album's gonna be very different but very cool. Excited for it. Really want to play songs off of it live at some point, but yeah.
And you handle all the recording and the production yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%.
What's your recording setup?
An iMac. So I write everything in Cubase, all the MIDI, and then I once I'm done writing the MIDI, I'll bring it into Logic, and then I'll like do pretty much mix it from there, and also like make some like edits, and like that's like kind of just how the final product comes to be. And like I'll make, since I'm like editing in like a new like DAW, like sometimes like the end product will be like vastly different from like what I'd write in MIDI or like what I have envisioned like at the beginning. So it's like always very interesting like listening to like the MIDI demos from like Cubase, and then like what the final product ends up being and stuff.
And all your albums are on your Bandcamp page, right?
Yep, all on Bandcamp, Spotify, etc. There's like a couple like 2013 releases that are not on either of those, but that's okay because I feel like those are you know, they're all right, you know. But there's other 2013 releases you can still listen to, but yeah.
And besides the Bandcamp page, if people want to follow Blind Equation online and get info on tour dates and things like that, what's the best way to do that?
Blind Equation, like just Blind Equation, no spaces or underscores or anything, just Blind Equation on everything.
On all the social media platforms?
Yep, absolutely, every single one.
Very cool.
Blue Sky, TikTok, Threads. I do not use Blue Sky or Threads too much, but mainly Twitter, Instagram too. Although the algorithm doesn't like to show people my stories, even though my Instagram stories on Blind Equation are epic and very cool. It's usually just me reposting videos from the show that we just played, and Facebook sometimes. And then whenever I download TikTok, I'm on there. But yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say?
If you're, I guess like if you are attending any of these shows into Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea, etc. tour. Thank you for doing so. This has been like, I'm only like the beginning in, but like this has been like the crazy experience of my life. This is awesome. I don't know, everyone has been super nice and it's been a really cool tour. So just thank you. And if you're in the States and you see us, thank you as well. But yeah.
So I'm hitting 2 festivals in May, Northwest Terror Fest, which is on the West Coast, and Maryland Death Fest, which is on the East Coast.
Nice.
And I'm taking an Amtrak from the Pacific Northwest to Baltimore, and it stops in Chicago. So I may be in Chicago for a day or 2. Anything you recommend I see?
Not the Bean. Don't go to the Bean.
What's the Bean?
Oh, so the Bean is this thing in Chicago where it looks like a bean and it's like it's like a mirror all around it.
Okay.
It's like cool, but like they also like closed it off right now, so like you can't even go inside, which is like the cool thing to do. So you can't really go to the Bean. But
what are cool places to see shows? Like if I want to see some underground shows?
Yeah, so Subterranean's like a big one. Like you'll see like bands like bigger bands there, and also like smaller bands, DIY bands. Really like that spot. There's a downstairs and upstairs, and they have shows on both usually. Beat Kitchen's cool. Cobra Lounge is cool. Fuck, what else? Empty Bliss is like a DIY DM for Address type venue. That's where we're playing after the tour. Oh, Empty Bottle's really cool. Love Empty Bottle. Just really good vibes there. Really good sound too. Sleeping Village is really cool too. Yeah, any of those spots are just like look up on Songkick Chicago shows and you'll find something cool.
Thanks so much, James.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.